Welcome back to Class Firearms, guys. Kai over here with Jason.
What's going on, folks?
And today we're going to talk about, obviously, everything foregrips, right?
Yeah, vertical grips, angled foregrips, angled hand stops. I mean, pretty much anything to positively control your rifle.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so many different styles out there. And we're going to talk about basically which ones do we prefer, why over the years did you obviously evolve into something different than you used to, or do you still use the same ones? We're going to kind of explain to you guys what's out there and what do we prefer and why. Right. That's pretty much it.
Absolutely. And I think we should probably start off with like the OG, right? The one that really paved the way for things. This is a standard issue, Colt M4, that type of vibe, and it's got that Knight's vertical grip. We call it the broom handle, right? Because that's literally what it is. You saw a lot of guys running it this way, but obviously this is not the most ergonomic way to shoot with it.
It's certainly not. Yes.
I mean, you're really putting all that weight and everything up on your forearms to actually engage with this thing. You're doing a lot of this and swimming and swinging with it. It's not really great. So what a lot of people do is just run the modified C-clamp, right? You put 3 hands down here or 4 fingers down here, wrap that index and wrap that thumb on top to give you a little bit more positive grip on that for positive control. So,
dude, originally, like, people really did. I was one of those people. And it wasn't too long ago. Like, we're talking about 2011 for me, right? And I used to have a little broom handle, something a little bit different, but still vertical. And I used to shoot like that, and it felt so ergonomic back in the day. And now, obviously changed that, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. It feels really awkward. Right. But my buddy Jim Foreman from the Navy, he would say, you know what, he still likes using it this way.
A lot of people do, and it's like, if it works for you, that's fine, and we're not negating that. For sure, work what works for you. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? But there's many different styles and applications that you would want to change of your grip and or foregrip.
There is multiple right answers here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously. This is very subjective, but the good thing about this, like when you hold a foregrip, so the argument is, you can actually fight for the gun. You can just do like muzzle strikes, all of that stuff, and it does give you a better control for that kind of application.
Right.
But when it comes to shooting, I'm with you. It's a little bit old school.
Exactly. When it comes to shooting, especially if we're doing any type of barricade work, or if you've really got to get in unconventional ways of shooting, it's not the greatest, right? So, yeah.
But you know what? I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Onyx Arms. They made the shorter version of that. Yeah. Broom handle, the M-Lock and Picatinny right here. And moving on to what else you got there?
Yeah, man. So we got this SBR here. It's my Mac 9 MP5 variant, and it is paired off with the Unity Tactical Vert Grip. Now, it kind of mimics that one. It's kind of shorter in the Onyx Arm.
You're talking about the Onyx, right here.
The Onyx Arms one. Right here. Yeah, it kind of mimics that. So it's almost the same length, kind of long, kind of short. Now, of course, the only difference is this little turnstile knob, which actually helps you lock it in. Yep. But it gives you that small of a package, especially with this being so small. It allows my hand to get a positive grip. I do thumb over bore or modified C-clamp grip, especially with just most of my rifles. That's just how I run them. And it allows me to have my hand in a very conducive spot where I can either work a light, a laser, and or manipulate this firearm however I see fit, right? Yeah. So it's just me. These things are not expensive. And when we talk about these, none of these are crazy expensive.
Yeah, they're Handstops.
Unless you get to the ones like we'll get down a little bit later where you are going to pay a little bit more money for it. But
don't.
Well, I mean, you can.
Guys, when it comes to like vertical grips, don't. There's so many great companies out there. They actually make really good solid products. Don't spend your money on some other really essential stuff.
Well, remember, it's all about material sciences, man.
I know.
So, I mean, I'm just saying.
I'll speak my mind on that one.
Gotcha.
But you talked about SPR, right?
Yep.
Let's touch base very quickly, SPR versus pistol, the rifle.
Yeah, so SPR, this is, I paid my $200 tax stamp to the government, repeal the NFA, and I was able to, after I get the approval, able to throw a stock onto the pistol.
Short barrel.
Yeah, short barrel. So anything under 16 inches per se is considered an SBR length category unless it's a pistol. Pistol configuration means it comes from the manufacturer as a pistol, so that doesn't mean you can buy just like a regular, strip lower and then throw a pistol brace and be legal that way. It's actually not. You're still breaking the law. It's still classified as a rifle. But with this, paid the tax stamp, this is now, good to go. So, yeah.
So, short barrel rifle, the SBR over there, and a 16-inch, your typical rifle over here. And now, if you go short barrel, like in this case, right here, you can throw a little brace on it, and you are good to go.
Right.
unless you work on a vertical foregrip.
Oh yeah.
Then we have a little caveat.
Right.
Okay. I feel like we should just address that for sure.
Yeah. So
go ahead.
And of course, you've got this PWS one. Of course, it being an 11/8, right?
Yep.
So it's got that little bit of extra length just to make sure you get those clearances for the overall 26-inch overall length. And normally, how you measure that is from end of muzzle to end of buffer tube, not the brace.
Yes.
So just take that in consideration. If it goes 26 inches or over, you are allowed via the BATFE to throw in a vertical foregrip on that.
If it's less than that,
no.
You cannot use a vertical foregrip. It'll be illegal.
Right.
Just an FYI.
You actually change the classification to a AAW, which then you still have to fire paperwork for. So yeah.
Exactly. So either you SBR it, throw whatever you want on it, or keep it 16 inches rifle length, throw whatever you want on it. Or if you're gonna do shorter barrel, no SBR tax stamp. Anyways, you guys get the idea. So that's it. Definitely check the laws before you do any kind of modifications to your gun. Moving on. So we've got this guy right here. So
this is Ryan's. Everybody loves this gun. This is a pin and weld 13.9 with the muzzle device on it, and it, of course, you see stock on there. So we are at the legal length. This overall from here to there, and the measurement is 16 inches exactly. So that means he can put whatever he wants on here, right? And on this case, we've got the BCM angled vertical foregrip. Now, people say, oh, but it's got a slight angle to it. We pretty much say, however the manufacturer states it as, that's pretty much what it is.
It's a vertical foregrip. Exactly.
So yes, it does have a little cant to it. I mean, the degree is, I think, a 17-degree angle to it, but it's still right there. And people say, oh, you got it backwards. We actually like to angle these AK style. The reason why is when you do get your hand here, it kind of acts as a crutch so that you can dig your hand even like deeper into it to get even more positive control over the rifle.
Exactly. So that, just because we have it this way doesn't mean you need to as well. This is very, very subjective. You can flip this around and use it that way. That's also the right way to do as well. So that's it. I'm a huge fan of this.
Yeah, they are like, if anything, they are kind of like the industry standard. If it's not the broomstick handle, you pretty much see BCMs on a lot of stuff. So
exactly. So I like the angle of it. I like the feel of it. Personally, I'd like a little bit shorter. That's, for me, because I use pretty much every single foregrips as a hand stop for me. I'm completely content with not having a foregrip. I can just simply wrap my hand around the handguard and I'm good to go as well. But it's good to have that consistent kind of hand stop on the gun, but I don't really need all of this real estate.
Right, and I understand that. A lot of people say, oh, well, I don't need one. I could do barricade work easier, which is very true. Under a little bit more conducive fire schedules, though, this then becomes a beautiful thing because you can then shift your hand down because due to that heat that's heating up. We're talking about like dumping mag after mag after mag. You know what I'm saying? So
it certainly becomes a very, very beautiful thing. Exactly. And then we have this. Whose AK is this?
It's Ryan's Volk.
This is actually
Style
really
and
nice.
class, for sure.
Rail scale, obviously, vertical foregrip here. This is a aluminum.
Aluminum one,
It's
but
not.
they also make a polymer one. So I actually have that same type of one that's just polymer on my 11.5 MCX.
Yeah, and obviously you're gonna have pretty much no flex with this thing, right? It feels really good. Yeah. It actually has a really good texture. I like this.
Oh yeah, it's good. There's also some added bonus features to what Railscales does, especially in their ecosystem of things. If you notice, this is actually built in to stay or stand in their actual rail section. So there's a cutout here that allows you to link it together. So it's not just one separate piece. You put a rail scale there, you put this in front. It allows you to get a little bit more in there, so you can have complete total heat protection.
Gotcha. Really, really cool. I like it. The way it feels in my hand, very, very good. Again, this is a true vertical too. This looks pretty 90 to me, right?
Yeah, and ribbed for your pleasure.
Exactly. So overall, I mean, this is another one. I mean, Ryan does like running vertical foregrips. Again, that's his personal ones. And then moving on to, we've got, obviously these are all vertical grips. Then Ergo over here. This is an actual 16-inch rifle over here. Just good old classic rifle. You can put vertical, angle, whatever you want. And this actually looks a little goofy. I agree, right? But honestly, this is probably the most comfortable vertical foregrip I've felt before.
I mean, it is in their name, right? Ergo, ergonomically.
Yeah. So visually, I gotta be honest, maybe it's not that pleasant, but feeling-wise, this is really, really good. I really like this.
Marketing-wise, I'd call it a chode, but that's just me.
Yeah. And moving on to, obviously, same exact one over here on this PWS Mark 111. That's it. So these are all vertical foregrips. Now there's another very popular one.
Yeah, like
style.
Angled foregrips.
Exactly. So let's talk about those.
Yeah, we should show those.
All right, and these are the angled foregrips.
Yeah. So,
Jason?
Yeah.
Pick it up over there.
Yeah, man. So we've got a lot of them, right? This one's tried and true. Little block 2 action there. You've got the Magpul, the real Gen 1-esque type of
old school. That's
old
like
school
the
one.
angled broom handle. Let's just say.
Correct. It is. It is really like iconic for even being on this platform. You would normally see this with a PEG 15 or an L can and knock it out like that. But again, angled, right? So it allows you to put your hand in a more ergonomic way to then create a seat clamp on there. So it does give you positive grip, especially if you wrap your index finger around. You can use this to, i.e., do those muzzle strikes however you want to, but it allows you also, if you have lights and or lasers, to get to those things ever so easily while still maintaining positive control of the gun.
Yeah. So I used that for actually many, many years. That's all I knew, right? I mean, I used the broom handle initially, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just be more tactical.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I moved on to that. And then now I look back, I'm like, okay, you know what? That doesn't work for me today. Yeah. Right? I've obviously changed my style a little bit. And because like this is, we'll get to it, but this is something like that, right?
Right.
When it's a angled foregrip, for me, when I shoot the rifle, when I get on the rifle, I use my support hand to pull this rifle to my shoulder. Yeah. Keep it really tight, so it's good to go, just like that. And with angled foregrip, I don't have that purchase.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's not as good as some of the vertical stuff that I use.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
It's just kind of like, at least hand stops, right? Because I really do need to pull my hand, and now I could just feel that this could just slide out. You know what I'm saying? Especially if my hands get sweaty, oily, or bloody, whatever, God forbid. It could. So that's why I've kind of slowly gotten away from the angle foregrip.
Right.
They have their place. Yeah. They got lower profile.
Absolutely, lower profile stuff. So
yeah. And what's that?
Yeah, moving on right along, we've got the BCM CAG grip or kinesthetic grip. That's what it's really called. And it's same thing. It's kind of a hand stop, kind of an angle thing, but realistically, it's a hand stop if you think about it. It stops your hand from going even. It definitely stops your hand from going back, and it's got that really like angle. I'm pretty sure Travis Haley would say, you know, the castiniology or however you say that word, or you know, the biomechanics of this and that give you that. But yes, this is the BCM CAG. I'm pretty sure he had a handle in helping design that. So
yeah, like I'm not a big fan of this. I've never been a big fan of this.
It plays a factor. I understand why people want it, especially with things that have a shorter barrel. Like you want to have that positive control, especially on things like we're talking like 7-inch barrel, 8-inch barrel and end, right? So I get it, but is it ideal?
For me,
your mileage may vary.
Exactly, and again, I'm only talking to you guys about what I like. Like Jason likes certain things, like things differently than whatever he likes, and I like my own things. And John, Brandon, they got their own styles. So this is very subjective, but I have my own personal reason for everything. And when this is, if you look at this thing, this is kind of angled like a hook, right? I would have liked this if this was more flat, like more vertical, because whenever I grab the gun and I try to pull, do you see it kind of crams? I feel like this angle part, forward angle motion, kind of crams my pinky into my ring finger when I'm just pushing it down. It just makes it ever so slightly like uncomfortable for me, right? It just, I don't like the way it feels. And the same thing applies to over here, to this Griffin Armament right here. This is Brandon's gun. This is a driven arms cut, right? Again, it does that. It gives me that little U shape almost, and I feel the same thing. And what I don't like about this is, and I love driven arms scope stuff. I use them on almost all my guns, but this specific one, like the texturing is also very important. I find this one a little too aggressive, right? But again, that's not the main point. The main point is when this is kind of like sticking out like a U shape, it is kind of pressuring my pinky into my ring finger, and I don't like the way it feels. When I grab something, you know, like a vertical, when I grab the vertical guns, which I've gotten right here, like this Ryan's AK, I don't have that. So this is just completely I have this flat wall that my fingers are going against, as opposed to this wall that's kind of pushing back.
And it could just be angles, just how things work, because as I'm looking, your ring finger and your pinky are touching for sure. So regardless, you're putting pressure on something to drive that stock back into your shoulder pocket or into your body, right? So there's always going to be some type of like resistance. Again, angles really do make a difference. When
so that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a fan of, if there's any angle foregrip or vertical foregrip, doesn't matter, or hand stops.
Yeah.
If it kind of goes into U shape, like kind of push it forward.
Like a fish hook.
Fish hook, exactly like that. I don't like it.
Gotcha.
For me, it just gives me that little weird feeling. But that was it.
I mean, rolling into the fish hook thing, you probably might not like this one either. But this is also an option.
But here's the deal, though. I actually do like that one when compared to the other ones, because it actually gives me some vertical. Because I use it only for a hand stop.
Okay.
It only hooks down here.
Oh, okay.
You see?
Yeah.
If it started anywhere near this guy, you see? This kind of like gives you a little dip and comes back up.
That literally looks like it literally looks like a fish hook.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
This one is more like
lowercase j.
Just exactly. So it's just much lower profile, so it doesn't feel as bad as this guy.
For sure. And this one is probably the most cheapest one, right? These are rail sections that you just mount together. You can mix match it. You can put a hodgepodge of wherever you want to, and they just clip in. Now the beautiful thing about these, which I like, is that you get such good texture out of these magpul ones.
And keep that heat away too.
And keep that heat away for sure. But for me, I would have added maybe one more section because my hand's a little bit bigger. But again, that's how I would set up my gun. But I do like this. It gives you positive grip. And when I mean positive grip, you can really take this, drive this into that shoulder pocket, hold that there, and really get some positive stuff going on. Again, texture is great. Adds is that heat protection. So that's another thing. And so
So what would you say? Would you say that a hand stop or a vertical foregrip?
So this is real to me, in my eyes, it's a hand stop.
100%.
100% a hand stop. It's not even an angled anything. It's just a hand stop.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's that one.
And so there's vertical foregrips, there's angled foregrips, obviously, and there are some hand stops.
Right.
Could be bigger profile, lower profile.
Yeah.
It's different strokes for different folks, right?
Absolutely.
But I'm a huge fan of hand stops. Okay. I just want to grab that gun, consistently grab it from the same location. I'm pulling into my shoulder, and there's a little thing, something there that doesn't feel uncomfortable, keeps my hand sliding backwards.
There you go.
That's all I care. For me, that is the only thing I need. What do you think?
Yeah, I like vertical grips. I like hand stops on certain items. It just depends on what I'm really building that platform to be.
All right, just give me an example. Give me one of your platforms that you have.
11.5, I'll use a vert grip all day long.
Okay, so what do you use it for?
I use it mainly to cradle my hand to get that C-clamp, but also if I do have to use a barricade or use it in a barricade that's shooting over something or through something, I will then
put it on top.
I will then breach the barricade, load the barricade, and use that as the stop to actually put my weight onto it.
So you don't have to put your handguard on the barricade and all that.
Well, yeah.
That's a very good reason, right? So you just throw that thing on there, and there's different applications for all of these different foregrips. For me, dude, little hand stop, I'm pretty happy with it. Good to go. And we talked about this real quick. This is just straight up vertical. I'm sorry, not vertical. I apologize. Angled. Yep. And just a very basic lower profile.
And I will say that this is actually the newer, younger brother of this, just in M-LOK. So you've got this one made for Picatinny. That one's made for M-LOK. So obviously there was a little bit more slimming that got to happen. Now the question is, was that slimming in the right way though? Because just like you said, your hand actually slides with that one a little bit more than this. So
it certainly does. I mean, so you don't want to really have those hooks and stuff that catches your gear. Things happen, right? You want to find that happy medium. This. It could, if I was running this gun, I could make this work, right? I'm just right here hey, if I were to kind of set up my own rifle, what would I put? I wouldn't put this one on, I'd put something else on, but I could make this work. It's not terrible, right? But my hand...
It just feels... I will say this, I don't know what it is about this one versus this one, but this one puts my hand in an uncomfortable position.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. With this, it's there, I can have it, I know I don't feel weird with it, even no matter where I put my finger on this thing.
You know why? Because this one actually has this stop right here, the center piece. I think that kind of helps.
It does. It really does. Yeah. So just FYI.
I know you could swap that center stop too, but it's something, but I'm not the biggest fan of it.
I'm not the biggest fan
most
of
recent. All right, which one is this?
That's the Emissary Development one. Shout out to those guys, they're awesome. They make this carved one with this unique texturing going on, and it really does feel good in hand. I mean, first of all, it's big enough for, if you have big hands, first of all, number one, and it's also big enough to hook in if you also want to use that as a barricade stop as well. So it has like a dual role rather than some other ones, and it's really thick.
And I can pause, and I can see it's, even though this kind of comes forward a little bit, but it is long enough. It's big, so it's not. I'm not gonna have the same problems I have with that thing. You know what I'm saying? And I can already feel that I haven't used this thing. And yeah, this feels comfortable.
Feels very comfortable. Yeah. So they make different versions of that. They make M-Lock. They make the Picatinny one. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they'll make one for QCert coming soon as well. So
yeah. So, and this is a hand stop.
Yeah, that's a hand stop.
This is not a vertical foregrip or angle. This is just a straight up a hand stop. And the last one, obviously, I talked about. This is the Driven Arms Co. I like the size of this. Yeah. I think it's a perfect size. If it was a little bit more flat, I'd be like, good to go. And I love Driven Arms Co. stuff. I've got them on my bunch of other guns. My Rat Loyalty, I've got a hand stop there. That's actually pretty cool. But that's it. That is what I say. But we have something else here that is my favorite.
Okay.
I feel like it gets the job done for me great. And this is obviously Drew Meyer's design over here. And look at this. This is obviously a 6-spear Ryan's 308 gun. But if you see this thing, when I grab this gun, it's actually pretty vertical right here. It's got that ever so slight angle. And that's pretty much what they did was just your BCM vertical.
Yeah, it looks like they chopped it.
They chopped it down, right? And right here, it feels comfortable, good to go. My fingers aren't being all like crammed against each other, and low profile, good to go. It's not gonna catch on things. I love this.
And like we said, whatever floats your boat is that really ones you want to use, right? And I would say buy a couple, see what works out for you, and then kind of narrow it down from there. Obviously, you could vast and find videos like this where we try to explain our own personal instances and how we like it and what we do, and the shortcomings of what it is. So
there's always a trade-off, guys. And pretty much everything you do in the whole tactical world and guns and all that stuff, there's always that trade-off. You gain something, you give up something.
Yep. Right? No free lunch anywhere.
Exactly. So try a few of them. Like some of you guys may really love that broom handle, right? And it may work great for you, and you may shoot even better than anything else on the table. Try them out, but have a reason. Like, don't just like put stuff on your gun. Like today, I was just talking to one of our guys over here. Just why are you doing that? Like, if you can explain everything very reasonably, and give us the situations, like you can articulate every single piece, then you're good to go.
And also train with your stuff, because there's so many parameters that, it seems great in theory, but let's say you start using, one of those vert grips and try to employ a light at like a barricade.
Yeah, barricade, so, and it's, and that's how you change your gear too. Yeah. You'll, stack up a bunch of stuff on your plate carrier because it looks cool. And then next thing you know, you got to prone and shoot under the car, and you cannot see.
You can't do it.
Next thing you know, you got to just start shedding stuff off your plate carrier.
Yep.
So try things out, trial and error, train with your stuff, but have a reason, a logical, tactical reason for every little thing you put on your gun. Don't just try to make it look cool, and give up on tactics.
Right.
That's it. If you can have both, good to go.
Knock yourself out.
That's about it, man. What do you think?
I think that's about it. I mean, other than that, CF contest, man.
I was just thinking about that. What is that place?
I mean, we've got a lot of stuff on the table. We got a lot of stuff on the wall. If you just happen to, Google CF contest, I'm pretty sure you might be able to walk out. I don't know, with something like that.
Something exactly like this, but
maybe literally that. Maybe.
Oh, I mean, we've done plenty of scars. Obviously, we've done plenty of spears. So there's a lot of stuff there. Just definitely check it out. And also let us know your thoughts in the comment section, guys. Which foregrip do you guys prefer and why?
Yeah. Are there ones that we missed that maybe we haven't mentioned? Maybe some stuff maybe like from HRF Concepts, which they make some cool stuff.
Yeah. There's so many companies out there. So we just threw a few of them that we had over here. But let us know your favorite ones and why. And did you ever have to like switch from one to another because you identified a problem? Let us know.
Yeah, let us know those horror stories about training with specific ones. That's really dope.
Exactly. Yeah. So, as always, guys, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your business.
God bless.
And we'll see you on the next one.